John 20:18, Mary Magdalene went out and announced to the disciples, I have seen the Lord and that he has said these things to her. You go through what you go through. The power of your pain is that God puts a story in your heart that you get to share to the world so others can see and know and experience his presence. You have a story to share. You have lips that can proclaim. And listen, even though you don't understand the pain, the beauty of it is in the midst of the pain we find the promise. And the Lord said this in Isaiah 43, and what a beautiful thing. But now thus says the Lord, he who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel. Watch this. Fear not. See that? Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Jason, you don't have to live by fear. You don't have to live as a captive to that stuff anymore. It's going to come and the bells are going to ring, but my affection for you is greater. The alarms are going to sound, but the victory is won through the cross and the empty tomb. I am risen and I reign today. Jesus is the conquering king. He is the head of the church. He is on the highest throne. And although he is risen and he reigns and we can't see it now by sight, we receive it now by faith. You don't have to live fearing. You don't have to live fearing everything falling apart. You can live trusting that you are in the hands of God and the heart of God. He has called you by name. You are his. And he loves you and he leads you in a way that is tender and compassionate and caring, just as a good father would to his dear children. He loves you, he loves you, he loves you, he loves you. And that's the message that he has given to his people, even here in the book of Isaiah. And he says this to them in Isaiah 43:2, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. It's an Isaiah 43 kind of day, right? And I shared this with the board at Options Clinic the other day in our meeting. But just thinking about the reality that walking with God is not about the waters being taken away, and it's not always about the waters being parted or removed, but it's about God moving you through the waters. And so the rivers of your fear are going to rage, and the rivers of life are going to rage, and the waters of life are going to seep up to almost drown you. That's what depression felt like to me. It felt like I was drowning, and all I had was like a little straw that I was gasping for air, and somebody put their finger on it, taking away my breath. But you know what? They didn't overwhelm me. I made it through the rain. 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 That rain might have purged and that rain might have caused some pain, but that rain gave me power. It gave me presence. It gave me victory. And in my life, I am hearing the voice of Jesus whisper my name ever so much more clearly, which empowers me and it gives me faith and it gives me blessing and it gives me peace, because it's through all the stuff I didn't want that I got all the stuff I wanted, and I only wanted him. When you walk through the fire, you're not going to be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. He's not going to put out the fire. He's going to put you through it. He's not going to put out the flame. He's going to walk you through it. It's his presence whispering your name. That yes, the heat is there. And what does heat do? What does fire do? It destroys. It brings to ashes. It takes away life. But it's in that fire that we are purged and we receive life and we receive victory and we receive grace and we receive the presence of the Lord. That fire may be blazing, but it ain't burning. Man, you're walking in that kind of faith. He didn't say if you go through it. He said when you go through it. And there's power in your pain, because it's in your pain that even though it's screaming so loud, you start to turn around and say, Lord, is that you here with me? That's what Mary did, guys. Where'd you take him? Where'd he go? It's 2 angels. Angels ain't gonna do nothing for you in your struggle. You need Jesus. She walks the gardener, where'd you take him? Mary. Mary. Listen, church. It's not about where they're taking him. Mary, it's about where I'm taking you. Woo! Mary, it's not about where'd you take him. It's about where I'm taking you, and right here, right now, Mary, I am with you in the fire. I am with you in the furnace. I am with you in the water, and I'm going to take you through because you got a story to tell and you got a story to share, and it's how in your pain you found the promise and you shared that promise with all the world. And today we get to share in that victory. Listen, God is taking you through it. If he brought you to it, he's going to bring you. Yes, he is. If he brought you to it, he's going to bring you through it. Yeah, we can learn a lot in the water. We can learn a lot in the fire, but we begin to hear the one who was with us in the things that would be there to destroy us. That instead of despair and death, we find life and hope. And listen, there's no fire too hot and there's no wave too high because Jesus is greater. He sits on the throne. So tuck in that tummy and walk by faith, and you are more than a conqueror through him that loved you. You have the victory in Jesus Christ. You have the faith today. We can rise up as a church and we can believe my fear is lying to me and Jesus is telling me the truth, and he is here with me now. Flame, what are you going to do to me while Jesus walks me through this thing? There's power. There's power in your pain. There's power in your pain.